So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Reflections. Just a quick sort of review of the past week, past drama-filled week, and a look ahead at the West Brom game. Going to pull out some of the quotes from Steve Bruce's presser today. I don't usually watch the presser, but obviously because of some things that might have happened on Monday and Tuesday, it was important that I did watch it this week. So let's go straight into that. Obviously, it's a well documented. It broke on Twitter. I think Craig Hope was the journalist to first break the story that Matt Ritchie and Steve Bruce had a bust up at the training ground as a direct result of the sort of drama, confusion, circus act of that substitution, where Matt Ritchie was sent on against Wolverhampton. From the sounds of it, he had a book load of instructions to give out. There was a dramatic shift in the team formation that it was impacting 4 or 5 players who had to be pulled into different positions. As a result of that, Matt Ritchie wasn't able to, according to Steve Bruce, Matt Ritchie didn't get the information across quick enough. Now, who do you blame for that? I don't think you can blame the player for that, because I'm sure Matt Ritchie isn't the type to go on there and not say, if they've been said, right, we're going to do this, He's a diligent professional, a hard-working bloke, someone who we always say, he always gives 110% for the club. But anyway, Matt Ritchie's gone on. There's a bit of confusion as to who's playing where, and as a result, Wolves equalised and costing us 2 points. Steve Bruce in his post-match press conference blamed Matt Ritchie, said he didn't get the instructions on quick enough. He said that Jamal Lewis should have stopped the cross, and he blames Martin Dubravka, saying that on another day he should have saved it. In the case of Lewis and Dubravka, I totally agree with him. Jamal Lewis didn't even try and stop the cross, really. He trapped the player, but there's no effort made to block the cross. Dubravka, 9 times out of 10, I think he saves that. He gets a hand to it, it's just the wrist isn't strong enough. So then you see, before the press conference, Jamal Lascelles is asked what's gone on, and he's not quite sure either. It's all a bit of a mess. So Craig Hope has broke the story that Matt Ritchie has obviously heard this press conference in the car driving home or whatever. He's then tried to call Steve Bruce straight away. Steve Bruce has said, look, we'll leave this now. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Wait for training on Tuesday. Training on Tuesday's come round, and so that they've had, you might think, why Tuesday? Why not Monday? Right, so this game was on Saturday night, I believe. Didn't train Sunday, which you can understand. Didn't train Monday either. This leads into another point that I want to touch on once I've sort of finished this sort of little anecdote. Ritchie's, we'll see, you can imagine, he wants to get it sorted now. He's waiting until Tuesday. Steve Agnew, I believe, one of the coaches, has then come down to Matt Ritchie on the training pitch and said, look, the manager will see you now. Matt Ritchie is sort of not impressed by this. He's sort of, I can imagine he's thinking, right, I wanted a confrontation. Why is the manager not? He's almost wanting the manager to come at him and show some. I would want that for something like this. You'd want your manager to confront you. You want to have it out properly, show a bit of bite. He's then something along the lines of, tell that coward he can come and see me. Steve Bruce is angered by this and comes out and confronts Matt Ritchie and is barging into him, shoving into him. Matt Ritchie doesn't react physically. Let's press pause there. Whether you agree or disagree with Matt Ritchie's comments, I agree with him. For him to say that to the coach in front of everybody, I think was wrong. It's completely undermining his manager. Whether his manager is competent or not, I don't believe he is for this job. That's besides the point. Steve Bruce has then reacted, and a lot of people say, oh, he shouldn't have put his hands on his player, whatever. I don't blame him for reacting like that, to be honest. If someone I work with called me a coward, I would react in a similar fashion, I think. So I don't begrudge Steve Bruce reacting like that at all. It's the last thing we need. Matt Ritchie, although I agree with his assessment of Steve Bruce in this matter, it's the last thing we needed, really. But so from then on, Steve Bruce is not wanting to let it go. He's saying, calling out betrayal after everything I've done for you. Matt Ritchie has then said, "You've done fuck all for me." Steve Bruce has then, and now this is the key. This is the thing that is not the most worrying thing, but the thing that is the most interesting to me is Steve Bruce has then said, "Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to go and tell Lee Charnley." So that tells me that players have been in contact with Lee Charnley about Steve Bruce, or that Steve Bruce is aware that the players are not happy with him. Now, none of us know that they aren't. Before this incident, none of us knew that they aren't. But we can all deduce, we can all come to some sort of conclusion, but that confirms it. That really confirms it. So it's not looking good, is it? Steve Bruce, when confronted about this in the press conference today, it seemed like it's all he wanted to talk about, but it's all he wanted to talk about in the sense of he had the same regurgitated answer. Even when questioned about anything else, it was, this happens up and down the country. We've sorted it out. It happened. It's been regurgitated by the press. It was sorted out straight away. Matt has apologised to me and this training, coaching staff and the squad. That's all he sort of wanted to say. Even when asked about, are you going to resign? Do you feel like you need to resign? This was his sort of trotted out answer for that as well. Craig Hope is the journalist who broke the story. Now, Steve Bruce is not impressed with him whatsoever. He has accused him of saying he delights in printing negativity about the club. He's a negative person. The club aren't a massive fan of him either. Now, Craig Hope seems to me he's a very fair journalist, but he seems to be just saying what we sort of think. People like myself who do fan channels, if you like, and what the fans realistically believe is going on. So it's unfortunate that it's always negative stuff, but if there's negativity around the club on and off the pitch constantly, then what do you expect? You can't expect Craig Hope to be writing fantastic things about the club when, as an institution, a business and a football club, we are failing dramatically. And then as a football team on the pitch, we are failing dramatically as well. There's no positive spin to be put on Newcastle United right now. So, and it's almost like Steve Bruce is like, well, he's not reacting well to anyone being honest, which you see him in the press conference when he was, a couple of times he's got a bit spiky this season. And even though the bloke's clearly in denial about something, you quite like it. You see that fight, you'll see him staring at one of the journalists, see the fire in his eyes, you think, yeah, let's have a bit more of that in the right areas. But anyway, so he's called out Craig Hope, saying he's nothing good. He just wants to print lies. He's negativity about the club, wants to bring the club down, when Craig Hope is a fan, like most people, like most of us. Right, so going back to the training on the Tuesday issue. Since we drew against Wolves and lost our two best attacking players, we've only trained twice out of the 5 days. Now, I don't expect them to train on the Sunday, particularly because obviously it's a weekend, but then again, weekends don't really apply to footballers. But it's the day after, so they've had a hard game against Wolverhampton, so a day after as a recovery, or a day off at home. I don't see the problem with that. However, we're deep in a relegation scrap at a crucial point this season. With this game against West Brom is an absolute fucking must win. Now, Steve Bruce doesn't think it is. I'll get to that in a minute. Players should be putting in overtime. Let's be honest, they get paid enough bloody money as it, after dropping points against Wolves, with West Brom coming up, with Alan Saint-Maximin, especially with Alan Saint-Maximin and Miguel Almiron injured, I would expect players at that training ground no later than 8:30 Monday morning. Now, I don't know what times they train and whatnot, But I've heard, I've seen Alan Shearer on a podcast saying when he took over for that brief stint in 2009, players had to turn up at 10 o'clock and they'd be home by 3. It's not enough. That's not enough. I know players have got rehab. They might not want them out on the training pitch, say 10, 11 o'clock, but I'll expect them to turn up, whether they're doing recovery with the physio or talking, just like tabletop talking through tactics or something. Why are they... Sorry, I'm playing my hair. It's an absolute mess. Why are they having like 2 days off straight off the bat of a game when we're deep in a relegation scrap? I don't know. Is it a case of the players are, have they sorted out their own little committee and they're like, right, we're not training with this fucking guy? I don't know. Obviously, you see on like the club's Instagram page and the club's Facebook page, people laughing and joking with their training, which paints a picture of all positivity. But that could just be a snapshot, a little 5-minute snippet of a training session. Yeah, it's alarming that we've in. So that's what. Sunday, Monday, I'm assuming it's today's Friday, obviously. I'm assuming they must be doing something today, surely. But prior to this, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's 5 days. That's a working week, right? And they've trained twice. Less than half. Like I said, Sunday I can forgive, but you want them in. Until we're safe, I would want, or like mathematically safe, I want most players in every single day. Right, and I'm not saying getting flogged every single day. I'm not saying like double fitness sessions every single day. I'm talking like Sunday you can have it at home. Monday will be in recovery review of the previous game. Say in the morning, recovery and review. Monday afternoon we'll go through some light training. Tuesday, hard day of training. Wednesday, talking tactics, looking at West Brom, what are we going to be targeting, setting up defensive set pieces. Thursday, same thing. Friday, I would say taper down a light session. Now we're playing on Sunday, so we've got an extra day. So Thursday light session, Friday light session. Then Saturday we could do just like a walk through tactics and whatnot. We didn't play on Saturday, so we've been given an extra day, yet we were only training twice. Mental. So I've gone through that, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, Steve Bruce in his presser seemed to put the blame on everybody else, didn't admit anything. I mean, he's never going to say he's not up to the job or question himself, because that just undermines everything, and that just almost loads Mike Ashley's gun to fire him. Not that Mike Ashley's ever going to fire this fucking guy. But he blamed Dubravka, he blamed Jamal Lewis, he blamed Matt Ritchie, he blamed Joe Linton, I believe. Blame this, blame that. And he just doesn't take responsibility. Apart from when he was pushed about the Matt Ritchie issue, which obviously dominated the conversation, he did say perhaps in his post-match press conference or in his post-match comments, he could have handled that differently, which is true. This whole thing could have been avoided if he kept it in-house. I've got no problem with him slaughtering players behind the scenes if needed. In this instance, I think it was his fault, not Matt Ritchie's. But, you don't mind that. Let's keep it in-house. But then again, Jamal Lascelles, perhaps he should have done that as well. Updates. Before I do that, Steve Bruce, one question on, have you lost the dressing room? He's obviously not going to say yes, but he said, he's come out with the same old crap, got 100% belief in these players, got belief in what we're going to do. They got belief in me. My relationship with the players is as good as ever. Now, I don't think, even if you're lying through your teeth, which you clearly are, Steve, I don't think you can credibly say that at the moment, given what's just happened. It just doesn't wash. You could say, look, we've had a few problems the last week or so, whatever. But, we're still together as a unit. We're still all pulling in the same direction. A few updates on injuries. So Isaac Hayden has been sort of battling with an ankle injury sort of for the last couple of weeks. So that he said, there's no reason why you can't play but we've got to review it and see how he is. Emil Kraft obviously come off against West Brom with shin injury. Same sort of deal. See how he is. At the minute, it's 50-50. So you could say that we're not going to have a registered right back for a couple of weeks at least. What do we do about that? Do we promote someone up through the youth team? I don't know. But yeah, just talking on injuries, obviously, I didn't touch on it very much in the morning after show for Wolves because I didn't know the extent. So it's come out the last few days. Alistair Maximan and Miggy Almiron are both out till April, which is obviously catastrophic. We're looking at having them back after the international break. So if you factor in the international break, it's not going to be that, that length of time in terms of games. But it's still like, in the game at home against Southampton, we lost our best striker by a country mile. Let's not beat around the bush. We lost one of our best centre-backs, Fabian Schär. I've been sort of up and down about him under Bruce, but he's had a good few performances where he's been decent recently, notably Liverpool, Leeds, and he was doing right in the Southampton game. What he was doing, taking a free kick anyway, is beyond me. But Javier Manquillo, who's our best right-back, and then we lose in the next home game against Wolves. We lose, obviously, Alistair Maximan and Miggy Almiron, and then Emil Kraft as well. So that's 6 players. Just get my digits right. That's 6 players, right? Take Emil Kraft out, because if everyone's fit, Emil Kraft's not playing. That's 5. 5 shoe-in first. If everyone's on their game, everyone's fit, that's 5 shoe-in first-team players. Or maybe Schär, maybe not with Fernandez and yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Schär is the first-team quality centre-back. Javier Manquillo is our best right-back. Callum Wilson's our only striker. ASM on his day is our best player, and Miggy Almiron's been our best player recently. So it's just like teams like Liverpool, injuries all the time, fucking hell. But we've just had, that's half of our first team decimated. Half our start 11 decimated within 2 games. Shit, what are we gonna do? On the plus side, I've heard reports that Callum Wilson he's doing like triple sessions with the physio for his injury, and he could be back. I'm not saying he'll start, but he could be available for selection by the Brighton game. So we're looking at 2 weeks, which is crucial, absolutely crucial. We need him back ASAP. So I'm just going to touch on this. Obviously, I don't watch West Brom. I'm not going to pretend to be like that I've done my own work on West Brom and that I've analysed them. I haven't. I know that, and this is no dig at them, to the core, they're a championship team, really. The main advantage they've got is Sam Allardyce is a wily old dog. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to win games. He knows how to get the right amount of points. No doubt he would have galvanised them. That said, they lost against Everton the other night. I don't think Everton were at their... I've seen the highlights and I've got a few friends who are Everton fans. I don't think Everton were at their best by any stretch, else they would have dispatched them comfortably. They're a physical team, good at Allardyce side, aren't they? They're a physical team, organised, good at set pieces. They'll take their chances when they get them. So, Kraft being 50-50, that tells me that even if he is all right to start, he's not going to be 100%. So let's leave Kraft out of the equation, right? I don't think we're going to go... I know in my heart we're not going to go 5 at the back, because why would we go 4 at the back against Chelsea, Man U, Wolves, and then go 5 at the back against West Brom? Although, according to Steve Bruce, this isn't a must-win game. It's not a must-win game. Now, I'm just going to touch on this quickly. I'm buzzing around all over the place here, but why would you say it's not a must-win game, Steve? Because, let's be honest, it is. We all know it is. However, it's not been reported as such by him. Now, the only reasons I can think of that he's saying it's not a must-win game is because he doesn't want to put too much pressure on the players. Obviously, because of what's happened recently with Matt Ritchie, the whole conundrum with the substitution. Is he trying to remove some pressure from the players to either keep them on side or just, like I said, just to take a bit of pressure off them to help them perform? I don't know. However, we all know it's a must-win game. If West Brom beat us, we've had it. We've had it. It's a downward slide. They are, apart from Fulham, they're our nearest direct competitor in terms of keeping out, being dragged into the bottom three. Sorry, but our nearest competitors at the minute are West Brom, Fulham, and Brighton. I think Burnley might get sucked into that, and the way they're going, I think Southampton could as well. Which sounds mad, because Southampton have been a good team this season. You know, at one stage they were what, top 8, and looking good. But 'tis what 'tis. So it is a must-win game, Steve. Don't bullshit everybody. We all know it is. So let's have a look at it then. We can assume, I think it's fair to say 4-3-3 is out of the equation now, because ASM and Miggy were sort of pivotal to that. ASM is a winger, but he can play in that front three. He's capable of being that forward, whereas I don't think Fraser is as competent at that. I think Fraser prefers just being a wide man. Jacob Murphy definitely as well. I wouldn't put Matt Ritchie in the front three either. Be interesting to see whether Matt Ritchie plays or not. That'll be a big telling point. That'll be a big telling point. But we'll look at that after the game. So I think 4-4-2 is a viable option. Or I was posting sort of I did a few ideas around to my mate, and I reckon 3-5-2 could be viable, although we've never played it. But anyway, let's just go for the 4-4-2. So we're looking at, I think you'll stick with Dubravka. I think that'll be too much of a dramatic U-turn to go back to Darlow now. I was calling for Dubravka to come in, but looking at it, and it's not just because he made a mistake, but Darlow's on decent form. Darlow's been a goalkeeper the whole season. It's quite a dramatic change to make when we're this deep, so perhaps we were wrong in calling for that. Time will tell. Dubravka in goal, Jamal Lewis, Kieran Clark, Jamal Lascelles, Isaac Hayden. Well, if Kraft isn't available, Isaac Hayden will have to play. If we play a flat back four, because we played, I know they're a complete different proposition, but when we played Jacob Murphy at right back in a back four against Leeds, he got exposed. He can play in the back five, but not in the back four. So that's your flat back four. I think it'll be Ritchie. Fraser on the left. Your midfield will be John Joe and Willock. I think then you put Jacob Murphy on the right. So you've got two pacey wide players. Excuse me. And then up top, do not play Joe Linton. He ain't up for this fight. I think it has to be Carroll and Gale. I'd love to see the Longstaff boys brought back in, primarily Matty, because Sean was on a massive dip of form before he got taken out, and we haven't seen him for weeks and weeks. Matty played against Liverpool, played against Leicester, and he was decent. Didn't pull up any trees, but he looked good. And I've got nothing to suggest this, but Joe Willock is not a Newcastle player, so I don't think he'll be as committed to the fight to the relegation. It won't hurt him as much if we lose than it would the others, particularly the local lads. You know, Matty Longstaff will graph for this side. Willock has so far, but what I'm saying is if we lose against West Brom, we need the players to hurt and to really want to follow that up with a performance, or after losing the 2 points against Wolves, follow that up with a performance on Sunday. Really, you know, grab that win we should have had. I've not seen anything from Joe Willock's character, his demeanour, his body language, his performance, to suggest that he doesn't care, but he doesn't play for us. He's not a Newcastle United player on paper. By contract, if we go down, and when we go down, he's going to bugger off back to Arsenal. That's a harsh way of looking at it, but it's true. I think Carroll is a guy for this game. I think the West Brom centre halves, if we were to play Gale up top in a 3 on his own, I think he would get handled. So I think Carroll and Gale together could do the business. The old school little and large flick-ons, Gale in behind, he's sharp. I think that could do a business. If we play 4-3-3 with Joelinton in the middle, Fraser on the left and Murphy on the right, it's a waste of time, because Fraser and Murphy's main attributes are getting down the wing and putting the balls in the box. Joelinton ain't going to do anything like that. Let's be honest. I know it was unlucky off the line, but Murphy put it on the fucking plate for him the other day. The formation I sort of looked at as the 3-5-2. Now, 3 centre backs. There's no wing backs. It's a bit like Wolves play. 3 centre backs. Dummett or Clark, Lascelles. If Fernandes is fit, he could go in the middle. If Fernandes is fit and ready to go, you would say Clark on the left because of his left foot. Fernandes on the right, Lascelles in the middle. 2 in front of them, Hayden, Shelvey. 2 wide players, Murphy, Ritchie. Then obviously that 5th in the midfield, you would have Ryan Fraser like in the number 10 attacking midfield in front of Shelvey and Hayden, or you could put Willock there and have Fraser on the wing, or put Willock there and keep Ritchie on the wing, whatever. And you have Gale and Carroll up top. Fraser, I think, is capable of playing in beyond the striker. You've then got Gale is not pace, but he's fairly nippy. You've then got him reacting to flick-ons from Carroll. You've got Fraser steaming in behind. That's an attacking lineup, very attacking lineup. It leaves a lot of work for the 3 centre-halves, but I think they're capable. Even Ritchie could hang back a little bit. Hayden could hang back, so you've got a 3-1-4-2 sort of job. It's never going to happen, but I just thought it was interesting. So that's the end of Friday Reflections. I've got to go and cut the grass now. Yeah, so let's put all this nonsense with the coward thing behind us. Hopefully get 3 points on Sunday. Smash West Brom. I would love us to win like 3-0 or something. It'd be awesome just to get a bit of confidence, ready for Villa. Villa didn't look great the other night against Sheffield. Great win for Sheffield, by the way. Let's get some goals, get some confidence, get Dwight Gale scoring, because we need him to score goals in the absence of Callum Wilson, because I think Carroll's capable of 1 or 2, but he's not capable of putting a run of games together scoring. Let's get Murphy with an assist. Let's get Fraser. Fraser's a big man to step up. If you look at what he's done previously against Bournemouth, he is our, in terms of talent, he's our best player attacking wise that we've got now. So hopefully he can make use of it. Please win. Cheers.